So the last time I was here, you said you wanted me to talk about my son. Is this gonna be one of those sessions where you ask me a bunch of questions and I have to tell you the first true thing that comes to my head? Or is it gonna be the kind where I just sit here and talk and you sit there and analyze everything I say?
However you want.
I guess I have the answer to that question. Okay, why don't I start with the first day that I met him? A few years back, I was sitting in the office at the club. Big Tony comes through the door with a handful of some kid, about 18, 19, a good looking kid, sharp, with the suit, the hair. He kind of looked like one of us. And he says, Vinny, I'm sorry to bother you, but this fucking kid's been down at the front door demanding to talk to you. And the kid says, I'm sorry, sir, I'm just real desperate to talk to you right now. I sensed his honesty, and I got a good feeling from the kid. So I said, okay, Tony, is he clean? He says, yeah, Vinny, we worked him over real good, he's clean. I said, okay, kid, fetch one of them chairs over here and sit your fucking ass down. Now it's just me and the kid. And I ask him, who the fuck do you think you are, huh? Coming into my place, demanding to talk to me. And he just looks at me confused. And he's like, well, it's me, sir, it's Jimmy, your son. Now I'm starting to think the kid's full of shit, right? Because I know that I can't have kids, but I ain't never told anybody. Yeah, and you ain't gonna fucking tell anybody neither. I mean, I ain't that bothered that I'm shooting blanks, but I got a reputation to maintain, you understand? And now I'm intrigued, I'm wondering what the kid's up to, so I ask him, how do you know I'm your father? And he says, well, I kinda had a feeling when I used to watch you and my mother having breakfast together. And then last week, I saw a bank statement showing the payments that you'd been making to my mother. And then I knew who this kid was. You're Luca's kid. He says, yeah, Luca's my mother. Now let me tell you about Luca real quick. She's a friend of mine. I mean, nothing ever happened between us. But she was probably the best fucking friend I ever had when I think about it. We used to talk about all kinds of shit and we didn't agree on any of it, But we could disagree without arguing. But she would tell me off sometimes though, and it was kind of cute. Because she'd usually call me Vinny, And then when I made some asshole comment or did something that she didn't agree with, she'd tip her head down and look at me and point and she'd say, Vincenzo, you're an asshole. And that's how I knew I was in trouble, Because she'd use my full name. Yeah, Vincenzo. She was never afraid to tell me I was wrong, And I kind of liked that. I don't get too much of that. I'm surrounded by people who are saying, yeah, Vinny, no, Vinny. Too fucking scared to speak what they really think. But not Luca, She kind of reminded me of my own mother in a way, even though she's a couple years younger than me. Luca had a small diner. I discovered one morning. Luca's Diner, good Italian name. She made the best fucking poached eggs I ever had. And homemade bread. Yeah, everything she did in there was homemade, to her own recipes. And the coffee, wow, that was something else. So I started going there a lot of mornings for my breakfast, And it got to the point where I was turning up early and waiting for it to open up, just so I could have the place to myself for a while. And that's how we got to being friendly and talking. She started bringing the breakfast over and then sitting there with a coffee just shooting the shit, Yeah, this was our thing for about 5 years. And one morning she turns up looking real sad. And I said to her, Luca, what the fuck is wrong with you? You look like somebody died. And she says, Vinny, I think I'm gonna have to give up the diner. Get a better paying job that gives me some free time. Because I want to send my kid to college and then to law school, because he's real smart. And I want him to have a good life. I get that, But I'm like, fuck. This is your dream though, Luca, You've been here almost 10 years. You can't just give it up. How much is it going to cost to send the kid to school? Maybe I can help you there. And she said, no, Vinny, that's real sweet of you, But I ain't after your money, and I ain't real big on charity. I just thought I should let you know I'm going to be closing the place up. Then I had a brainwave. And I said, okay, why don't you come and work for me? And she's like, doing what? No offense, Vinny, but I don't think I'm cut out for your line of business. I said, no. I want you to come and help me run a diner. Okay, I want to open a chain of Luca's diners all over New York. you get a 51% share. I'll take care of all the boring business stuff, and you can be the face of it, you know? Your restaurants, your recipes, you know, just in multiples with other people running them. That way you can earn some more money and have your free time for your kid. Yeah, so that's what we done. I mean, it suited me too, because, you know, I wanted to get into the catering industry. Well, anyway, back to Jimmy. He talks for a while, you know? And it turns out that ever since he was a very small child, long before I came into the picture, his mother always told him that his father loved him very much. But because of his father's lifestyle, they agreed that he would never be a part of that. But his father always said that he'd take good care of him. I guess she didn't want him to know the truth, that his father was a no-good piece of shit that fucking ran off the minute he found out that Luca was going to have a kid. Yeah, but that's Luca, you know? Heart of gold. And now I could understand why the kid got the impression that I might be his father, you know? But I got the, I don't know, I kind of sensed that he was getting emotional, you know? Like there was something he wanted to say, but he didn't really know how to. So I said to him, come on, kid, you know, whatever it is that's on your mind, you just fucking spit it out, you know? Tell me. And, yeah, he says, my mother's dead. And that hit me like a fucking freight train, you know? Luca's dead. And some drunken piece of fucking shit ran her down on a fucking sidewalk one night on her way home. And I'd been down in Florida, and I had no fucking clue. I'd been down there looking at diners for Luca. If I'd have taken her with me, she'd still fucking be alive.
Vincenzo, we talked about this.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Doc. It just makes me fucking mad, you know? Jimmy could hardly hold it together, you know? And I said to him, I'm real fucking sorry, kid, because, you know, I know exactly how that feels. It was just me and my mother growing up, and then suddenly one day she wasn't there no more, just like Luca. He said, I'm sorry you had to find out this way, you know, but I thought I should be the one to tell you, because I know that you and my mother are still close, and yeah, I kind of need to know what you want to do about the money that you've been sending to her account. That poor fucking kid. On top of losing his mother, he now thinks he's going to be fucking broke, and he's going to have to drop out of college and kiss goodbye to law school. And I said to him, ain't no fucking way that's happening. Me and your mother made a promise that you go to law school. And he said, okay, thank you, sir. And then it just came out of my mouth. And I said to him, look, kid, you can't keep calling me sir. And he said, oh, okay, well, what should I call you? And I don't know why I did what I did next. But I just felt like I should fucking step up for the kid, you know? Like maybe Luca would have wanted me to. And I wanted to, you know? So I told him, why don't you call me Pa? Yeah, I mean, sure, he looked a bit shocked at first. He didn't really know what to say, and then he just fucking broke down. I just kept saying, I really miss her, Pa. I really miss her, Pa, you know? Yeah, and I fucking miss her too. It's been 3 years, and I still have fucking dreams about talking to her, you know?
I've been sleepwalking, talking with your ghost. I have dreams often where you come